We've gone through rookies, we've gone through defense, kickers, tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs, and now we're finally at the cream de la crop, the quarterback position. We have done multiple kinds of tops 20s, top 50, top 40. We are doing all 32 quarterbacks in this episode. Now, I understand not every single quarterback has been set in stone for their teams. Teams like Cleveland or New Orleans have not figured out their quarterback position just yet. This is basically a projection, and I'm more or less thinking about who I think is going to be the starter when the season rolls around. So with that said, the way I'm doing this is where I believe they're going to be drafted, plus how I feel about the quarterback. At points, you're going to have quarterbacks that even I don't believe they're going to do better, but they're ranked higher than somebody else, because I'm mostly kind of looking at where I think they're going to be drafted in a way, and where I would draft them. And obviously nothing in fantasy football is set in stone. You don't know how many points someone's going to get, if they're going to deal with injury, or they're going to underperform or even overperform in some cases. This is my opinion about where I think these quarterbacks are going to be ranked. So today, we're looking at the top 32 quarterbacks for fantasy football. I hope you guys are ready, because I am. This is going to be a fun episode, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and go follow me on all my social medias, as I try to post on there when videos come out, and I would love to have interactions with people if they want, especially I do it in my comment section. So go talk to me on social media, and I'll try to talk to as many people as I can. Anyways, I hope you guys are ready. Let's get started. By the way, I got myself a pretty cool setup. Everything now is off the floor. Everything is pinned to the table, including my microphone now, which I'm gonna get used to it. Obviously, seeing myself, I'm blocked by this thing. I gotta be in a certain position. Light over here. I might move the microphone, but for now, it's gonna sit right here until I can find a better spot to put it at. But anyways, let's do this. We're going to first look at 32 through 25. At number 32, we have Tyler Show of New Orleans. At number 31, we have Russell Wilson of the New York Giants. At number 30, I have Joe Flacco of the Cleveland Browns. At number 29, I have Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers. At 28, I have Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans. At 27, I have Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts. At number 26, I have Sam Darnold, the Seattle Seahawks quarterback. And at number 25, sounds sacrilegious, but I have Aaron Rodgers of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Start with Tyler Show. The reason why I think Tyler Show is going to start above Spencer Rattler is because I think Tyler Show has been beloved by a lot of draft scouts. Obviously, he went before Shedeur Sanders, which I didn't agree with, but still, I think that he is a very well-respected quarterback. Did very well at Louisville. Obviously, didn't do anything crazy. I've only seen him play 2 times, one against SMU last year and the other against Notre Dame. He did okay. I don't know how special he's going to be. He has a really nice offense around him, but in the wake of Derek Carr's retirement, he's being thrown in there potentially. That's why I have him so low. I think this is just a poor situation for somebody who was not drafted as a first-round pick. He could rise up the ranks. I hope he does. New Orleans has a really nice core around him, and I think he can. We'll just see how everything plays out in his first year. Number 31 is Russell Wilson. It's more or less, I think he is starting to get out of his prime. I think he's no longer that kind of quarterback. He's going to have a quarterback competition. I don't even know if he's going to play the entire season. And the only weapon he really has at his disposal is Malik Neighbors. That's a good weapon, but he doesn't have a lot, and his arsenal is slowly diminishing before our eyes. That's why he's this low. But again, Tyler Show is unproven, and he's somebody who I don't know if he was put in a really good situation with what's going on in the offseason. Number 30 is Joe Flacco. I believe he'll start early on. Obviously, I don't think they want to deal with Watson. Shedeur Sanders is dealing with some offseason controversy, and I don't know anything about Dylan Gabriel in his position right now with Cleveland. The best thing you would do is Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel is the backup. Flacco doesn't have as many weapons as he did back when he was starting a couple seasons ago when he got the Browns to the playoffs. I think that Joe Flacco is a really good quarterback, but how long is he going to be there? I have no idea. And he's much older, so obviously he's not in his prime anymore. At number 29, Bryce Young. It's just, he's had a little bit of progression, so it's kind of bad that I put him at 29. But again, it's the Panthers, and he didn't do enough for me to put him high on fantasy. He did enough as far as to secure his job, and obviously he has better weapons now, but I'm just not ready to pull the trigger yet. Number 20 is Cam Ward. Cam Ward does have some pretty solid weapons. He's the rookie. He is going to be the high starter. I don't know how I feel about putting Cam Ward higher. I know that in the rookie episode, I said Cam Ward would do a lot better, would be a draftable player. Looking back, looking at all the quarterbacks, I don't believe that anymore. I think that he can be drafted depending on who wants to take a risk on him. I don't think you want to take a risk on a quarterback when you see all the other names that are above him. Number 27 is Anthony Richardson. He better get to doing so. He has so much potential. So much potential. He has kind of shown some signs that he's probably not the guy. And that's a little concerning that you're having a quarterback battle with Daniel Jones. I'm pretty sure he's going to start, but it's a little questionable. He needs to do something this year, something big. At 26, having Sam Darnold. I understand if people complain about this. Sam Darnold was top 5 in multiple stats last year. He played great with Minnesota, but then again, that was Minnesota. Seattle, I think, is a step downwards. He does have some pretty good weapons with Jackson Smith-Jigba, with Cooper Kupp, but I believe that Sam Darnold just had a one-hit wonder with Minnesota, and he is going to kind of go back to being an average quarterback at best, I think. And then lastly, Aaron Rodgers. Look, Rodgers put up a terrible performance with the Jets last year. The offense was not clicking the way I would hope. He had a lot of pass attempts, but not a lot of completions in comparison. I think he is out of his prime. I think this is going to be his last year. He's even indicating it might be his last year. And DK Metcalf is really his only weapon. It is what it is. I know they just got Jonnu Smith, and defensively they got Jalen Ramsey on their team, which a move, by the way. I don't know what they're doing and how they're going to compete, but it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Aaron Rodgers is able to do. But he's so low because you don't have a lot of weapons, and this is his last year. He's out of his prime. I still think he'll be more successful than all of them. 24 through 17, we have Geno Smith of the Las Vegas Raiders, Michael Penix Jr. of the Atlanta Falcons, Matthew Stafford of the LA Rams, Drake May of the New England Patriots, Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars, J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings, Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears, and C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans. Let's start with Geno. Geno did really good last year as far as like stats-wise. He was a good fantasy quarterback, had a lot of passing touchdowns last year, a lot of passing yards, a lot of completions, a lot of attempts. He was top 5 consistently in many passing stats that you saw over the shorts. The reason why I think he is going to not be up there draftably is because his best weapon is Brock Bowers, and that's it. Yeah, he got Ashton Genty. I get it, he got Genty, but no. He doesn't have many players to throw to, and his best receiver, I ranked in the bottom 40 part. So, I mean, Jacoby Myers is his best receiver. What is he going to do? I think Geno's going to have a step down this year. He's still going to do okay, but you're not going to see as the explosion that he was able to have with DK on his team, with Jackson Smith, with Tyler. I don't see him doing that well in comparison. Michael Penix is interesting. He has a really good offense around him. You got Bijan Robinson in the back, who's debatably the #1 overall pick in most fantasy drafts. You got Drake London, who came off an incredible season. He was top 11 for me, number 11, really. And then you have Kyle Pitts, who I still am undervaluing because he has not taken that explosive step forward just yet. But he got an offense. And back when he was at Washington, he was explosive. I think he can succeed very well with this Atlanta team. Defensively, they did really good in the draft. I really loved what they did on the defensive side in the NFL draft. They did amazing. First round specifically, but then you also got Xavier Watts from Notre Dame later on. It was an incredible draft for the Falcons, in my opinion. They did really good. I think their team is destined to do well. Penix is just like a safety spot to put right here. But who knows? If he blows up this year, I can see him being top 10 in the next 2 or 3 years. He has the kind of offense that can allow for this. Matthew Stafford being at 22, he's still got a really good core around him. He's a lot older, but he's not in Aaron Rodgers' form where I just think Aaron Rodgers is doing a lot worse. Stafford, to me, having Puka, having Devontae Adams is very nice. I think that they're going to do extremely well there. And because of that, I have him at number 22. I just didn't put him any higher because he is getting older. So Drake May being at number 21, really his stock went up when they got Stephon Diggs. Drake May should do a lot better. The offense still has a lot of work to do, but Diggs is a big pickup. And I know he's coming off of injury, but hey, Josh Allen's first year, Diggs made him look like a superstar, and from there on out, Josh Allen is just a bona fide star, no matter how you try to put it. And talk about the playoffs all you want. For fantasy football, he's that guy. Drake May could be that. That's why he's at 21. I can't put him any higher, though, because it just feels wrong to put him higher. At number 20, we have Trevor Lawrence. You got some offensive weapons on him now. You managed to really strike gold with Brian Thomas. And now you have Travis Hunter, who is going to be extremely huge for him. I think that Trevor Lawrence has a really nice offense around him, but he better step up. He is looking bad. He had to deal with injury last year, obviously. The Jaguars did terrible. They were terrible. They should be a lot better than what they're doing. But if Trevor Lawrence can't step up, they may have to start looking for new alternatives. So, Lawrence, you need to take a step forward this year. J.J. McCarthy at number 19 is for one specific reason: Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is incredible, and I think J.J. McCarthy, he showed some promise in his one preseason play before he had to do surgery. I would say that I can't put him any higher, despite the fact that he got himself an incredible core, because he's unproven just yet. This is a nice spot to have. Number 19 is a good spot. I think he can actually do it very well. I used to be really hard on McCarthy, but after seeing the one preseason game and knowing what kind of offense Minnesota has and the defense they're building, he has a shot. He has a shot to be very special. And we'll see what he's able to do this year, because we'll hopefully have a whole season with him. Some people had Caleb Williams at number 12 on their list. Why? I have no idea. Caleb Williams has a lot of upside. He has a really good offense around him, good weapons, but he is not the kind of quarterback I want. And the reason why I say that, he tries to play hero ball. He's taking a lot of unnecessary throws. He's not getting the ball out quick enough. You got to with a bad offensive line. Now he has a good offensive line, so maybe be able to get away with that. But Caleb Williams had some pretty poor tendencies that I noticed a lot last year that I didn't see much from Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix, who we'll talk about here in a bit. But Caleb Williams, he needs to settle down. I think Ben Johnson can really help him, but for now, he's at 18. And this is the tough one, CJ Stroud. Why is Stroud so low? Everybody knows I was high on Stroud last year. I watched a sophomore season of CJ Stroud that I was very disappointed with. He did not play well whatsoever. He did get to the playoffs. He did do very well, but a lot of the offense, I was more impressed with Joe Mixon. And he still has a really good core around him. He's still somebody I would draft, just a little bit later than what I projected beforehand. And his core, again, we're going to go back to this: Nico Collins, Tank Dell when he gets healthy, Christian Kirk. They have a really good offense set for him, but he's going to have to prove that his rookie year wasn't a one-hit wonder. So we'll see what happens. 16 through 9, we have Justin Fields of the New York Jets, Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins, Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys, Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers, Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers, Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions, Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos, and Brock Purdy of the San Francisco 49ers. Let's start with Justin Fields. He has a lot of upside talent. Chicago did not do very well with him, and then they gave everything to Caleb Williams. Justin Fields has upside. I was surprised when he got benched last year, despite the fact he was doing very well with Pittsburgh. I think that this is going to be a nice start for him. You have a pretty good offensive line that's starting to be built there, and you got some good weapons like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall's in the backfield. I think that they can do a lot better. Fields has the upside. The reason why he can't go higher is because they haven't proven himself yet, but the reason why he's not so low, where a lot of people would put him, is because I believe Justin Fields overall has the upside capabilities, being a dual threat that he is. They just need to have the right offense for him. And who knows, maybe he's going to get a lot more opportunities because you got Glenn now as the coach who's a defensive mindset. So the Jets defense should be a lot better. And Justin Fields will probably have a lot more opportunities. So that's why he's at 16. At 15, I had Tua. This one was really hard between him and Dak Prescott. I put Tua lower mostly because of his injury history. I know Dak has one too, but Tua's is a lot worse. It's concussion after concussion after concussion after concussion. And it's very concerning. When he's out there, though, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you have high-powered offense, and that's great for fantasy football. But can he stay healthy? Can he get his head out of dangerous situations? Because of these questions, he's going to sit at number 15. And now at 14, we have Dak Prescott. He got signed to a $60 million contract and was bad. Didn't do very well. A lot of people like to complain about Dak Prescott. You know, he's somebody who gets a lot of garbage time, and I say garbage time still equates to fantasy football. So looking at Dak Prescott's lineup, though, while the running back room is not fun, and Jake Ferguson, I hope he can take a step forward. That wide receiver core is nice. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, he can do a lot with that. And I think Dak Prescott has the capabilities to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback. We're just going to see what kind of Dak we're going to get this year. If we can get a full season with him, number 14, I think is the fair spot for right now. Jordan Love. Everybody knows that I'm a big Jordan Love fan. He was the quarterback on my championship team in my first year doing this podcast. I adore the fact that he was on my team many times. He's 30 points, 40 points, 50 points. I love having him on my team. The question is, though, where is the offense going to go? It has a lot of nice receivers. Obviously, they drafted a receiver for the first time in the first round in a long while. But Josh Jacobs, he is doing some work. Overall, I like what Jacobs is able to do. Jordan Love is really good at moving the ball around. So Jordan Love, to me, this is the point where I say low starting quarterback for your fantasy team, high backup quarterback. This is the range I'd start at, is with Jordan Love. So I want to see Love do really good this year, and I think he will. I just hope that core can really help him out. And it's a big upgrade. We'll see what Matt LaFleur does with Jordan Love, but I think that he is going to be a high-end fantasy quarterback. At number 12, we have Justin Herbert. Fun fact, he did not get rostered in my league last year. Kind of disrespectful. I mean, overall, you look at somebody like Justin Herbert, he's shown he's a high-end quarterback. I had him in my second year in fantasy football altogether. He was my backup to Josh Allen. I love that core. I had him during my championship run, but then he got hurt, and then Jordan Love took over. Justin Herbert, I think, is going to do a lot better than he did last year because he has more weapons to his disposal, and obviously players are taking a step upwards like Lad McConkey. You have Najee Harris and Amari and Hampton. I think there's a lot more that Justin Herbert's going to be able to do this year, and because of that, he is above Jordan Love for that reason. At 11, we have Jared Goff. Why is Jared Goff so low despite the fact that he did so well? It's because look at all the quarterbacks above him. You can argue number 9 if you'd like. Maybe 9 and 10. You can argue that. That one was a hard one to do. Jared Goff has a really nice core, though. Amon-Ra St. Brown is his number 1, who, in my opinion, is the number 4 wide receiver in fantasy this year. For me, I like Amon-Ra. I think Jared Goff is going to be able to do a lot, but I think what brings him back is now that Ben Johnson isn't the offensive coordinator, there's a little bit of a question mark of what that offense is going to look like. If I know anything about Goff and I know the team, he will be fine. He just won't be as high-end as he was before. At number 10, we have second year Bo Nix. Bo Nix got the Broncos to the playoffs for the first time since winning the Super Bowl in 2015. That's insane altogether. He has himself a nice core, really good tight end in Evan Ingram. Obviously, I like Cortland Sutton. I think that they're going to do a lot this year. The run game is kind of meh, but I do think the offensive line is getting better. Overall, Bo Nix, can he eclipse a 4,000-yard, 30-plus touchdown season? I have no idea. Maybe. But because of the upside, because of the potential, that's why he's top 10. If you want to argue he should be lower, sure, go ahead. I have a feeling that Bo Nix is going to be a lot better. They had him as high as number 9. I'm not putting him over Brock Purdy, though, who we're going to get into now. Brock Purdy is still on a very, very high-powered 49ers team. And by high-powered, we're looking at Brandon Ayuk is going to be coming back. You have a nice set of wide receivers like Jawan Jennings. And then you have one of the best tight ends in the league like George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey if he is back by the beginning of the year. If you can keep McCaffrey, that alone should help Brock Purdy a lot because McCaffrey's incredible in the screen game. And there's so many outlets to help Purdy out. Obviously, Debo's gone, but I think that was a hit. Not as big as a hit as it's going to take on him overall. I think he will do really well this year, as long as those players can stay healthy. And now, the top 8. The gold standard quarterbacks. From 8 to 1, Kyler Murray of Arizona, Baker Mayfield of Tampa Bay, Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City, Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts of Philadelphia, Jaden Daniels of Washington, Joe Burrow of Cincinnati, Lamar Jackson of Baltimore, and number 1, Josh Allen of Buffalo. Let's start with Kyler Murray. Everybody knows why he's very high. His skill set upside is incredible. He is not somebody that I like consistently across the board. I don't know if I take Kyler Murray, but I know he should be ranked this high. I just don't like the fact that you're going to have a hot Kyler Murray early on, and by the end of the season, you're going to see a lot of holes in that game. I just feel like Kyler Murray starts strong, finishes, and that's his problem. But he's high because, come on, a great passer, a great rusher. He was in a lot of rushing statistics last year, and that can't go understated. Kyler Murray has so much upside, and hopefully his receivers take steps forward in his offense as well. Trey McBride being his tight end. There's a lot of upside that could be had with Kyler Murray, and that's why he's at number 8. Baker Mayfield being over Kyler Murray doesn't make sense until you see what he's able to do last year. He was in multiple statistics, high in completion and attempts, 4,500 passing yards, 41 touchdowns. The drawback is the 16 interceptions, which was tied with Kirk Cousins with the most in the league, and that was bad. But Baker Mayfield has an incredible offense. Bucky Irving in the backfield, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Igbuka, and then Cade Otton at the tight end position. He has an incredible team around him offensively. He should be a fireball this year. I'm looking at another high 4,000 yards overall. We're talking close to 40 touchdowns. He can definitely get you that kind of percent. And that's why he's number 7. I almost put him at number 6, but that would have been rude. Number 6 is Patrick Mahomes. That one is going to draw a lot of ire because in my entire time playing fantasy football with Patrick Mahomes being as a starting quarterback for Kansas City, there's only ever been one time he was not in my top 5. And that was his first year playing, and he proved me wrong, and then he was in my top 5 in almost every single stat possible. Well, he's been dipping. Ever since Tyreek Hill is gone, he has not had the highest production that you're used to seeing. His rookie, or I guess his second year, but his first year playing and starting overall was incredible. But Travis Kelce, he's getting older. The wide receiver core, I wouldn't say is completely set in stone. And his running game, took a hit last year because of the injuries to Isaiah Pacheco. I think Patrick Mahomes overall is an incredible quarterback, but he is dipping in production, but not enough to push him any bit further down. I wouldn't do that. I just think that it's no longer the mythical nature of Mahomes that we've known for a while. I think he's just now a good, really good average starting quarterback as far as fantasy production. Obviously, he's a Super Bowl champion multiple times. I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm just saying in fantasy football, he's no longer mythical. That's it. At number 5, we have Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl winning quarterback. A lot of it has to do with touchdowns. He gets a lot of touchdowns on the ground. A lot of it's from the tush push. But hey, a touchdown in fantasy football is a touchdown in fantasy football. So he has a lot of that upside. He can get you a lot of passing yards, great completions. He has a great core around him. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley in the backfield, Dallas Goedert as your number 1 tight end. He has a great core around him. Overall, he has great talent. He has to be at number 5 for me. He's not higher because there is a lot of inconsistency compared to some of these other quarterbacks. Number 4, we'll get into that just a second. But Jalen Hurts, to me, we're looking at high, close to 3,000 yards passing, but around 600 yards rushing. And you're looking at 39 to 45 kind of touchdowns. A lot, very split from passing and rushing. And that's why he deserves to be a lot higher, but only to the number 5 spot. Number 4 is Jaden Daniels. Oh my God. I hate Washington, but every single game, I thought Washington was going to score more than 30 points. Early on, you saw against the Bengals and then Arizona. This guy is incredible at the quarterback position, and now you give him Deebo Samuel, who's going to get you a lot of points like he did Brock Purdy. He has so many avenues to work with. The only thing that scares me is all rushing quarterbacks have that potential injury nick to them, and that's what scares me. But if we're looking at upside alone, and the weapons he has all around him, you have Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson in the back. With Deebo, you got Terry McLaurin, and you have Zach Ertz as your tight end. There's so much potential for Jaden Daniels, and that's why he's high. At times, he was put at number 3, maybe even number 2 on some other lists. I'm not ready to do that just yet. That's very disrespectful to the top 3. But Jaden Daniels' upside is, without question, something to prepare for. I just hope he does not have to suffer that second-year bug that a lot of quarterbacks go through, the sophomore slump. But we'll see what happens. At number 3, we have Joe Burrow. He led almost every single passing statistic from completions, 460, to total attempts, like 652, near 5,000 passing yards and 43 touchdowns. He led everything. And in all seriousness, he should be number 2. And there's a reason why I set the top 3 the way I did. But Joe Burrow, to me, he has an incredible core around him. I mean, Jamar Chase is the number 1 for good reason. T. Higgins is top 15 as well. And you also have Gesicki as your tight end. I mean, come on. There's so many avenues for Joe Burrow to work with, and he's just a high statistical quarterback. I've seen him in my fantasy league consistently at times get 80-point games. That's unbelievable. Only reason they didn't make the playoffs because that defense was just not, it wasn't cutting it. Defense wasn't doing great. But Joe Burrow, he stepped up. He was a great quarterback last year. Number 2 is Lamar Jackson. In all seriousness, many times he should be number 1. There's a little bit of a recency bias. There's a little bit of a bias in my pick. Lamar Jackson overall, I mean, come on, 915 rushing yards, high up there in touchdowns, especially passing it. He was tied for second with Baker Mayfield, 41 touchdowns. Look at the core he has around him. It's not the most glamorous core, but you got Derrick Henry in the backfield with you, which that's incredible. You got Zay Flowers as your number 1. Now you got DeAndre Hopkins with you, with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I mean, the sky is the limit for Lamar Jackson, and many times he should be number 1. There's just something about Josh Allen that just makes me want to put him at number 1. First of all, Allen was the quarterback of my 2020 championship team when I took a risk on him and it paid off big time because he wasn't proven like that. Had one playoff appearance, lost to the Houston Texans, but then got Stephon Diggs. I thought Josh Allen was going to take a step backwards because Stephon Diggs left. Instead, he took a step forward. He was an unbelievable offensive juggernaut. He is that entire offense for Buffalo. His best receiver is Shakir. His running back is James Cook. His tight end is Dalton Kincaid. I mean, he doesn't have the most glamorous names, but he's a hard runner. He gets you a lot of touchdowns on the ground. Through the air, he can get you a lot of touchdowns and get up there close to 4,000 yards. There's so much potential with Josh Allen, and I think he's going to hopefully take another step up this year. And for fantasy production, I like Josh Allen better than Lamar than Joe Burrow because I think consistently he gets you up there in the 30s and the 40s. At times you can have high explosions from those other two guys, but then drop pretty low. Not much with Joe Burrow last year, but I've seen other seasons, and obviously the injury history with Joe Burrow hurt him a lot as well. Josh Allen doesn't have a big injury problem either, and that's also why he cements himself at number one. High potential, availability is amazing. He can kill you in multiple ways. That's why Allen is number one. Really, I haven't gotten Josh Allen on my team since that championship run, for good reason. I mean, God forbid somebody lets Josh Allen on my team again. He is one of my favorite. He is actually my favorite quarterback in the NFL without question. And because of that, Josh Allen deserves to be number one on my list. I know he's not number one on most people's list. That would be Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, but Allen is my guy. And that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. By the way, I created this on July 4th, so happy Independence Day to everybody in the United States. That's why I'm wearing the USA shirt. And I recently just had my birthday on the 29th of June, so I'm now 24 years old. And it's been a pretty impressive week. And then when looking at these last two episodes, 84, 62 views. I know that's like little for my channel, but that's big for me. So thank you guys so much for the support. Also on the shorts, I've started using CapCut a lot more in my videos, and it's made a difference. I've enjoyed the editing process a lot more. And these videos are fun to make. And obviously, again, I have this new setup, a light stand over here, light stand all connected to the table, the camera stand right here, and then this microphone. I'm probably going to have to find a place for the microphone to go because I do kind of want to twist it a little bit more here. Actually, this is not a terrible spot, so I might keep it here. But yeah, lots going on with this channel, and I'm very excited. There's not going to be an episode next week. I'm going to be in Jacksonville, so there's not going to be much for me to do, but once I get back, it's time to get back into the regular season stuff because we're getting closer to the NFL season. The first football game is later this month, and that's the Hall of Fame game. And so it's time to get ready to prepare. I have some videos coming up. I'll let you in on some of them, how I do fantasy football. I like to kind of teach people how I kind of process fantasy football. I may even do like a mock draft on this channel live, potentially have this as an episode. Could obviously do ranking the teams, what I think the records of the teams are going to be, looking at some of the matchups potentially, and obviously revealing my fantasy football team when that draft occurs. So I hope you guys are excited for that. And if you like this video, please leave a comment down below and subscribe and like, obviously. Okay, did that little unorthodox there. And then go follow me on all my social medias. They're in the description below. And yeah, that'll do it for me today. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.